What is up, everybody? Thank you for checking out a new episode of the BarbacoaCore Podcast. I am your host, Patrick C. Huerta. Today is going to be a solo episode because the guest I had canceled on me again. Shit happens, you know. But I wanted to get this one out and just talk some shit real quick. Obviously, it's going to be a short one, a short episode, and then I'll do the long ones when I actually have a guest come in. Have a few people interested, but I do record strictly on Wednesday, just because it's the only days that I set aside for doing the podcast, and that I have access to the studio that I record in. Wednesdays work out best for me, and so if I can't book a guest or get a guest to come in, I'll just post a solo episode real quick, just to go over, um, what I got going on. Um, so yeah, as usual, let's do the shout outs. Shout outs to CBDB. Follow them on Instagram at mycbdb. Or you can check their website, www.mycbdb.com. On that, you can use the promo code TXMC for your purchase when you check out, and you'll get 15% off whatever items you get on the website, mycbdb.com. CBDB is a Texas hemp botanical alternative boutique and pop-up shop for all your CBD needs. They're in San Antonio, Houston, or Austin, or you could just order your CBD online on their website, mycbdb.com. Also, another shout out to Uglyhead. Uglyhead has a new EP out that's available for digital pre-order for $5. That's the Disembodied EP. So you could get that at www.uglyhead.bandcamp.com /album /disembodied. Also want to give it a shout out to um, 10-4 Menudo y Mas. They are a pop-up shop. They do menudo and pulled pork sandwiches and pozole, and they try a bunch of different stuff. And they have pop-up shops every now and then. I think they have one coming up this weekend. I don't have the information, but follow them on Facebook. They have a Facebook page, 10-4 Menudo y Mas. Or they just started an Instagram page. Look them up, so you'll find out where they're gonna be at. Pretty good stuff. Again, they do like menudo and pulled pork sandwiches, pozole, and they try out different stuff every now and then. And yeah, and also if you're interested in Lyft, riding with Lyft or starting driving with Lyft, use my referral code, and of course that will help me out, help out the podcast. Um, you can get up to like $15 in ride credits. If you're interested in that, just download the Lyft app and use my referral code Patrick 276070. Terms apply on that. And if you're thinking about driving for Lyft, if you apply using my referral code, you'll earn $750 guaranteed if you do about, I think it's 110 rides in your first 60 days. So that is kind of a lot, but if that's something that you want to try to get, if you do like 110 rides in 60 days in San Antonio, you'll earn $750 guaranteed. Obviously, terms apply on that. But you could apply, download the Lyft app and then use my referral code, Patrick 276070. So it's PATRICK 276070, and you can get started driving for Lyft. Or if you haven't rode Lyft yet, and I do advise it because Lyft, as opposed to Uber, Lyft drivers have to do a background check. They do background checks on all the Lyft drivers, just so you'll feel a little bit safer. I mean, I prefer that my wife uses Lyft over Uber because of that background check. And so yeah, sorry. Um, use promo code Patrick 276070. So try them out. Uh, so yeah, I do drive for Lyft. If usually if my wife works late, I don't want to come home if she's not going to be here. So I'll just drive Lyft for a little while, earn a little extra cash, and it's cool. You meet some interesting people. Um, One problem that I do have, that thing that really bugs me, is like um, people will order rides, and it's cool. Like I've ordered Lyft rides for friends, but I'll tell the Lyft driver, you're not picking me up. You're picking up so and so. They're going to this place. Give them all the information. Give them a heads up. Just so the drivers are comfortable knowing that who their passengers are. But sometimes there'll be guys. This usually happens on the west side. They'll order it. I'll see like a lift request from Maria, and then I'll get there, and there's this guy that comes up. Is this the lift for Maria? I was like, yeah. Like, is she coming? Is she like, on the way? Do we have to wait a little bit longer? She's like, no, it's for me. And then they'll just get in the car. I was like, okay, well, who are you? What's your name? And they'll give me like this thing. Oh, it's Joe. When somebody answers, what's your name, and they go, oh, Joe, or whatever name, it just automatically sounds fake. So it kind of it sketches me out a little bit to have people that I don't know in the car. So that's why I do prefer if like whoever, like the account that it's linked to, if it has like a picture and a name, and like you even see like their rating. They have like a 5-star rating, 4-star rating, and then right at that point I could pick and choose whether or not I want to pick them up or not. Um, so yeah, I mean that's happened more than a few times, and if they don't tip, usually if they tip, I'll let it go. I won't report it. But if they don't tip, I'll report the shit out of it. Saying, oh, this guy is using somebody else's Lyft account, maybe from a stolen phone. I don't know. Um, there's one guy though. He opened up an account under YZ. And I don't know, whatever. So I pick up the guy. I was like, so okay, well, how do you say your name? Is it YZ? Is it Wise? Like, what do I call you while you're sitting in my car? And he goes, oh no, my name's Carlos. I was like, okay. I was like, well, why do you go by YZ? He's like, oh, I just trying to stay off the radar, trying to have my privacy. I was like, guy, you're in my car. You're a stranger to me. You're in my car. You could at least use a real name, or at least try like fake an account, fake a name. Just for my peace of mind. You could use a fake name, whatever. But yeah, he was a little fucked. I reported him too because he didn't tip me. People were nice, man. They usually tip. On top of that, like today, I went driving today, and I feel bad because I don't know who it was, but somebody had left me $10 cash. They left it on the center console, but like it was right like behind my arm, so I didn't see it. It could have been. I had like 5 passengers, just between like 5 and 8, and when I got home, I got out of the car and I see there's loose dollars like in the back seat, and then on the center console, and it totaled like $10. So I don't know if it was one person that left $10 or if people just took the hint and started leaving money right there on the console. But it was out of my sight. It was behind my elbow. I really don't look back there too much. I didn't notice it until I got off the car and I saw there was all these loose dollars in the center console. So that was cool. People usually tip through the app, but this one person had left. I don't know if it was one person or it was if they all left dollars here and there and stuff, but they had left me $10 in a tip, which was cool. Which was like, and none of my rides were like that long, you know. Like I think the most was like $16, um, and the smallest one was like $4. So if somebody like tipped me $10 on a $4 ride, like that was pretty awesome of them. And I feel bad because I don't know who it was. Not that it matters. I mean, I'm probably not going to see that person again. but just so I know, you know, or I could leave like a better rating on them because drivers could rate passengers just as much as passengers could rate drivers. And I usually give like 5 stars, you know, especially if like they're good passengers and stuff. And I only report people that I think are using fake names because I don't want those sketchy people in my car again. And if you give somebody like a low review, they'll automatically like you won't get them again in your car. Like Lyft will like not allow that to happen, even if you are like the closest one or the next in line to get that fare or whatever. If you leave like a bad review or a 2 star, you know, for whatever reason, you will not get that passenger again. But yeah, so thank you, whoever left me $10, or for everybody that left me a total of $10 in tips today. That was pretty cool of y'all. Um, but I was thinking about this because the other day, I had a passenger that okay. So this guy ordered a ride, and I can't tell if they're from there. Like, when you order a Lyft, you could put your address, your location, or it'll just automatically go off your phone. Usually, it just go automatically goes off your phone, but you could order it for other people. You could order a ride for other people. So I had this one guy, we'll just call him Roberto, um, had ordered a Lyft, you know, and they kept changing their location. So at first he was supposed to get picked up at Haven for Hope, you know. So I was driving on the way to Haven for Hope, and then the location changed and it says, or I got a text that says pick me up at the corner of Travis and whatever cross street, and so I was going that direction, and then I got a notification through Waze saying, you know, pickup location changed, and it took me to the via stop, the new I don't even know what's it called, um, parking ride, the new parking ride via parking ride that's downtown by UTSA. It took me there, and so I get there and I get to the location, and then I send a message, you know, like to Roberto, I'm here, located, you know, your Lyft ride is here. And after a while, this woman walks out of, you know, the via parking ride, um, the little building that they have for that, and she's walking towards my car, and I'm the only car parked in that area. So she's walking towards me, walking slow as hell because she's wearing like those stripper heels, like really high. They're lifts, the wedges or whatever. So she's high off the ground already, and then they're high heels. So she's walking hella slow, and it looks like she's in pain. Like every step that she takes, she's like making like a pain face, like a wincing face or whatever. And so she's going hella slow, and I'm waiting for Roberto, because they didn't tell me, oh, you know, Roberto ordered it for so and so or whatever. Um, so she's about to cross the street, and I rolled my window. I was like, "Are you, you know, the Lyft for Roberto?" And she's like, "You're my Lyft driver." And I was like, "Okay, I guess." And so I unlocked the door, and she gets in. I was like, I'm here to pick up a Roberto," and she's like, "No, Roberto ordered it for me." And so she gets in, and I was like, "Okay, so what do I call you?" And she won't answer me. I was like, "Okay, so what's your name? Do I call you Roberto? What am I calling you?" And she goes, Betty." And again, if somebody answers that question, you know, "What's your name?" and they start with and then they give you a name, I automatically know that that you're probably lying, or you're a little bit slow. You know, I've done that before. I've forgotten my name. You know, from time to time, I was like, oh yeah, that's who I am. I think it happened like maybe twice in my life, but I get it. But for a passenger to get into a stranger's car and not answer the simple question like, "What is your name?" or to answer like, Betty, I think you're full of shit. I think you're full of shit already. So I was already sketched out about that. And then she sat right behind me. Usually I like to have people like to my right, like enter on the passenger side. just so I could, there be in my peripheral. And already my peripheral vision is pretty shitty. So I usually have to like turn my head all the way around just to just to have a good visual. And but she's sitting right behind me, and she gets in, and then we start driving. And usually people put landmarks, like if they're going to this certain hotel or this certain place. Like if it's houses, they'll just give the address. But it was just like, an address on Vance Jackson, which was not too far from downtown. So I was like, oh, she'll be out pretty soon. And during the ride, she's doing all this stuff. She's putting on her makeup. She's not really a talker. I usually like to talk to the passengers because it helps it go by and it helps us put us both at ease. Um, and sometimes they're tourists, so I just make up bullshit about San Antonio, like, oh, you gotta check out this place. This is but whatever. Um, Sometimes I just like to bullshit with them because I guess I'm there, they're there. Might as well talk while we're traveling to whatever destination. Um, but she doesn't. No conversation from her, and she has her her headphones on, and so her music's going pretty loud, so I could hear her doing that all that shit. And she starts putting on makeup and spraying all this perfume and shit, and like it was it was a fucking sweet, disgusting perfume that she was wearing, and I was like, well, what the fuck? Um, and like I said, she came in like wearing stripper heels. She was dressed kind of uh, I don't know, like she was walking or working, walking the streets, stuff like that. No judgment, girls, females could dress however they want, but I'm gonna notice and I'm gonna make my assumptions. That's just gonna happen. It's not right. It's not. Uh, we shouldn't do that, but I'm gonna do that. So whatever. So she's spraying all this stuff. My car's fucking stinking, and finally we get to the destination, and the destination um, is an HEB, the HEB off of West Avenue, Vance Jackson, or Jackson Keller, whatever. And so I stop in front of the HEB. I was like, "So is this your stop?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, that's the direction it gave me. Like where am I taking you?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm meeting Roberto." I was like, "Okay, so are y'all meeting at HEB because you need to get off?" And another thing that I don't like is Lyft will like automatically add somebody to your queue if you're nearby. If you're nearby a rider and they request a lift and you're nearby, they'll automatically put you in the queue for them. So I have somebody waiting for me already. They know that I have another rider, and I'm close to dropping them off, and that they're in my queue. So I'm like, okay, well, I have another passenger waiting for me. This is this is the address that you put into the application and to the Lyft app. What are we gonna do? And so she's like, well, can you call Roberto because my phone's dead? And I could hear the music, so I know that she's still on her phone because unless she's using something separate from her phone, I could hear that she is listening to music through her phone earbuds. And so she's telling me that her phone's dead. And I was like, well, I don't have Roberto's number, which I did because if he ordered it from his phone, I could go to like his file and you could call him, and it's supposed to like call him anonymously using a different number, not my number. Like it uses like a fake number. That's just how Lyft has it set up, if you know or don't know. Um, so it'll be like a number from California calling you, but it's me. That's just how the Lyft system is set up. So she's like, "Well, can you call him because my phone's dead?" And I was like, "No, I can't." And she's like, "Well, I need to get a hold of him, and I can't call him. My phone's dead. Can you call him?" And I was like, "Okay, well, what's the number?" And then she goes to her phone and she starts scrolling, and then she gives me the number. And I didn't tell her nothing. I wanted her out of my car already. And she gives me the number, and I call, and it goes automatically to voicemail. And I'm like, and my phone is connected to the Bluetooth in the car, so it's in speaker. The speaker's going on in the car, and so it goes to voicemail, and I'm waiting for her to leave a message or something. Like call me at this number or whatever, whatever. And she says nothing. I was like, do you want me to leave a message? And she's like, yeah, leave a message for Roberto. And so I was like, all right, Roberto, this is Patrick, a Lyft driver. I have your passenger, Betty. We're trying to figure out where she needs to go. Give me a call back, and I leave my number. And after I said my number, I was like, fuck, man. Not only did I call this guy from my phone number, now I just left my phone number again, whatever. And so I was like, so then I hang up, and then I'm talking to her. I was like, what do we do? I have another passenger that I need to get to. The passenger's already waiting for me. Where do we go? And she's like, well, we'll just drop me off at the Burger King. I was like, well, so he ordered it for you, and you're not meeting him here? Like, where are you supposed to go? She's like, oh, he's an old friend from high school, and he's in town. We're gonna go hang out at his hotel room for a bit. And so now I'm thinking, okay, this is a fucking, she's a hooker probably, you know. That's the first thing that my mind goes to. Is like she's a hooker, and Roberto, if that's his real name, is a John, and I'm in the middle of this. I'm involved now. I'm an accessory to a pimp, or something like that. And so she's like, "Well, just leave me at the Burger King." And so I drive out of HEB parking lot. I go across to the Burger King. I'm like, "All right, you gotta go." And she's like, "Well, call Roberto again." I was like, oh, "Lady, man, okay." So I call it again, and Roberto answers the phone. Guy doesn't really speak much English. She didn't either. Just to add that to it, she's very broken English stuff. No judgment, doesn't matter. I'm just adding that detail to the story. And so he answers. I was like, "Hey man, I have Betty. We're here at Burger King. I'm gonna drop her off here." He's like, "No, no, no, no. I'm in the HEB parking lot. I'm in a white Tahoe in the HEB parking lot. Can you bring her over here?" Fine. But this guy, I'm dropping this girl off at a car in the HB parking lot. Why couldn't he pick her up from Haven from Hope or from the Via bus stop himself? And that's what even made me further think this is a hooker, and I'm dropping off this hooker to a John in an HB parking lot, whatever. And then I get more pissed off. I was like, you wanted me to call this guy from my phone because you're willing to have his dick in your mouth, but you don't want him to have your phone number? Like, I was just like, what the fuck? Because I knew she was still on her phone because I could still hear the loud music from her earbuds, unless she was using something else. But even when she was giving me the his phone number, she was scrolling through her phone, which she told me was dead, which is bullshit. I don't know. Maybe she didn't have service. I don't know. She had music. I get it. I know people that use dummy phones that have no service of them on them unless they're Wi-Fi and they have music on them. So it could all make sense if you wanted to, but I wasn't. I wasn't thinking that. I was like, you're. This is fucking. This is not a legit situation. I'm an accessory to a pimp thing, and I'm gonna drop this girl off, and cops are gonna jump out, and I'm gonna get in trouble, and I have another rider in my queue. So anyway, so we cross the street. I drive across the street from the Burger King back to the HEB parking lot. This guy is literally just sitting in his car, waiting for this girl to get dropped off. He ordered a lift for his hooker. This is the story in my mind. This is how it played out for me in my mind. The story could be completely different. I'm pretty sure it is, but this is what I made up already. This John has my number because this hooker didn't want to use her phone because she didn't want the John to have her real number, but he could have mine. You know, she's gonna get dropped off. They're gonna go off. I don't even know. Maybe they just fucking hooked up there in the HEB parking lot because why, I, nothing made sense to me, you know. But I did some pimp shit, I guess. And I didn't report it because they tipped me like $10, which is like, I guess that was Roberto giving me like, hey, thanks for bringing, my hooker to me or whatever. Um, so you get shit like that if you ride with Lyft. They're not all like that. They're not all that entertaining. Some are just tourists. Um, and yeah, and some are fun. I don't know. Um, yeah, I didn't think I was going to talk about that so much. But that was like 25 minutes, and that was just the shout outs in that little story. Hmm. So yeah, drive Lyft. Use my referral code Patrick. Uh, yeah, use referral code for Lyft if you want to drive for Lyft, or if you want a $15 ride credit. Uh, Download the Lyft app and use my referral code Patrick276070. I'd appreciate that. Uh, Especially with Fiesta coming up, like nearby. Uh, don't drink and drive. Use the Lyft app. It'll be a whole lot cheaper than having to deal with like, the DWIs, of the fees, the bail money, all that stuff. And it's even cheaper than doing parking. Because parking downtown, especially during Fiesta, is kind of ridiculous, and it's a little hard to find too. So just Lyft. Go directly to the party. From your porch to the party, use Lyft using my referral code. I appreciate that. What else is going on? So I don't know if y'all heard about this. It's kind of funny. I went to an open mic yesterday. There's a new open mic going on at the Elbow Room off of Parambato. Uh, Linda Reese is running that. She's in charge of that. So if you're interested in signing up for the open mic at Elbow Room, email her at mindtwistcomedy at Yahoo or at Gmail. I'm not too sure. But Mind Twist Comedy is running that. And I like it because you could sign up through email and she'll give you your time slots and all that stuff. So it's a good mic on Tuesday. But the crowd was pretty thin when I got there. My time was at 8:30. And so I walk in there. I was running late, so I walked in there like around 8 o'clock. It usually starts at like 7:30. Uh, so I was at eight. My spot was at 8:30. Um, and one of my big problems for these open mics is that I need a crowd. I need to work with the crowd. So if nobody's really listening, then I just get stuck. You know, I need to get used to being able to talk to myself. I mean, I do it now with this podcast. If I don't have a guest, but doing open mics when there's no audience, it's kind of hard. Um, so we need audience members to go out to the Elbow Room open mics on Tuesdays. But like there was like four people in the back of the room, so I was pretty much just performing for them. I was crowd working to them, which I don't like doing crowd work. You really shouldn't do crowd work at an open mic unless you're working on crowd work stuff. But you should work on new material. See if these jokes that you're writing, if they work, if people laugh, if you piss people off, whatever. Um, but there was like four people in the back that were kind of listening, and so I was just interacting with them and stuff. And there's this comedian impersonator. He's a Trump impersonator. So he does his Trump character at open mics. Sometimes he gets all dressed up. He puts on the makeup and the wig and all that stuff. And sometimes he'll do like the hurricane relief Trump, which is just like the red hat and like the little bomber jacket and all that stuff. Um, but he was there yesterday, and he was talking to these people during my set, and I said, Trump, dude, leave those people alone. They're the only people listening. I need their attention because everybody else is just comics, and they've heard me do my shit before. And comics don't really laugh at other comics at these open mics. Some do. And I had to talk to one chick 'cause I asked something about like, oh, any parents out in the audience? Y'all are pretty good parents up, supposedly because y'all are out drinking on a Tuesday night. And she kept saying something, and the guy that she was with kept like covering her mouth, like not wanting her to say it. They were playing whatever, and I was like, I can't hear what you're saying. What are you saying? And she kept trying to say it. I was like, it's fine. It's probably not worth it. And they got a laugh out of that. But so I had to tell Trump, to the four guys in the back, stop talking to them. They're the only people listening. And I was talking shit about them for a little bit. And it's all good fun. Like, if I talk shit about somebody, like, I'll go up to them afterwards and I'll shake their hands. And they're usually good sports about it. Um, but anyway, so the reason I brought that up is because, I've said, what's up to Trump? You see the same people at these open mics, and you just, familiar faces. You say hi, you say what's up, whatever. And so he was talking to me, he was bullshitting me, and I was like, hey man, you're gonna go up, you're gonna do and the more Trump, I like the casual Trump, that's kind of funny. I was just bullshitting. He's like, yeah man, I'm working on some new stuff, because I'm opening up for Stormy Daniels at the joke. I forget what it is. Stormy Daniels is doing a one woman comedy show type thing, or she's doing a one woman show at a comedy club, and some people are like upset. Some people are like, don't matter, whatever the fuck, let the comedy club do whatever. But I thought it was so funny that fake Trump. That's not what he goes by. I forget what his name is, what his character stage name is, but he's fake Trump, MJ Trump, something like that. But he's gonna get to open up for Stormy Daniels at her one woman show, at the Joke Joint. I think that's what it is, Joke Joint. So I thought that was pretty funny. Because a lot of people were kind of talking shit, like, oh, fuck her, fuck that show, it's bullshit, she shouldn't do it. But if they ask me to open, I'll do it. Which is always funny. People just comedians just want to work, don't matter where. So that was kind of cool. Well, and I thought it was funny that he gets open. I thought he was bullshitting me at first. I was like, for real? I was like, really? You're gonna do that? And he's like, yeah, man, I get to open up for Stormy Daniels. Get to meet her. It'll be awesome. We're gonna take all these pictures with her as Trump and blah blah, blah. Like, man, cool, man. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully it's a good show. I don't care. I mean, I wouldn't pay to go see it. But whatever. That's just me. Um, but yeah, man, that's really all I got going on. I got a guest coming on next week. It's just hard to get guests to come in because, like I said, I stick to Wednesday, just because other days I'm busy, or weekends, spend time with my wife, and oh, that's another thing, man. She's gonna be gone for like 12 days, I think. Her job is sending her out of town for a while. And we just found that out, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Are you gonna take your dog? Because I don't want to watch your dog for those 12 days. Um, but no, her dog will stay here, I guess. Unless anybody wants to take care of a dog for 12 days, hit me up. He's a piece of shit dog. Um, we had the results of his 23andMe, um, the DNA testing, and it came back he's 100% asshole. So if you're looking for a 100% asshole dog for 12 days, hit me up so you could take this guy. Um, you got to return him because she's gonna want him back when she gets back. So yeah. But that's it for now. Oh yeah, my guest for this week, if everything works out, if everything lines up, is Joey Smith. He's a new comic. He runs a mic out in Shirts. I think it's Shirts or Converse. Fuck, I can't think of the name. Bar House. I think it's called Bar House, and then the other bars. They go back and forth. They alternate from two different bars that he runs, but that's a Monday night mic that he's been running, and he's been hopping on shows, and he's getting his name out there, which is pretty cool. And we'll talk more about that next week. Hopefully he still comes on, because like I said, I had a guest lined up for today. It was the same guest that lined up or that canceled on me a couple weeks ago. And then I reached out to him and said, hey, man, do you want to come on and do an episode? Because I already had the artwork done. And he said, yeah. And then he texted me again this morning, he texted me this morning, I can't do it. I got to be at this place for this show or whatever, which is cool. But yeah, it kind of sucks. So if that happens, you'll just get another solo episode. But hopefully we'll get the ball rolling. And I need to start reaching out to other artists besides comedians. I want to get some more bands in, all different types of artists rather than just focus on comedians. because I kind of ran out of comedians to ask. Are comedians that are interested in doing the podcast, which is cool. Because San Antonio is full of open mic or comedians. Some are still in the open mic level. Like I'm still doing open mics. Like I haven't put my name out there to get on any shows. I'm still trying to work on stuff, get more comfortable. But some people, they do a couple open mics and then they start putting their names out for shows and they start doing shows and they do all that stuff. But that's just not the way I'm going about it. I'm going about it real slow. Just because I'm having fun with it, trying out new things and seeing what works and finding out what doesn't. Um, so yeah. But next week I have my guest comedian Joey Smith, funny dude, cool dude, and hopefully that's a good one. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you again for listening. Again, do another shout outs for CBDB. Follow them on Instagram or use their website, mycbdb.com. Use promo code TXMC for 15% off of anything that you order through their website. Shout out to Uglyhead for letting us use the music for the intro and outro of this and every episode. Give their new EP a listen. The Disembodied EP. You could get it pre-ordered. I don't know if it's still for pre-order, but you could get it for $5 maybe on their website. That's uglyhead.bandcamp.com/album/disembodied. Check out their Disembodied EP, their new EP, or check out Uglyhead the Garden, because I play drums on that one. So if you're interested in finding out or seeing what my drums sound like with the music of Uglyhead, check out the Garden. So yeah, and also shout out to 10-4 Menudo y Mas. They have a pop-up coming on this weekend. I think it's at Freetail. It's got to be at Freetail on Saturday. I don't have the time, but if you're interested in getting the times, follow them on their Facebook page or follow them on their Instagram, 10-4, the number 10-4 Menudo y Mas. And yeah, follow the BarbacoaCore podcast page. That is where I post and repost all the guests, friends of the podcast, whatever they have going on. I'll repost it there on that Instagram page at BarbacoaCore Podcast. I do have a Twitter page for the podcast at BarbacoaCore Pod. Haven't really done anything with that. I just set it up just to get the name. And our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me if you're interested. Hopefully, I have more stuff coming up in the future. Thanks for listening. I'll check y'all next week. Later.